EKG type of effect with the state of the economy now. Like we've seen the stock market drop, we've seen it rebound over 4 weeks, and then next thing you know, we don't know what we're going into next. How can a 401k, like you talked about, concern with people outliving their money? You know, a lot of people don't consider it, but if you put that back $100,000 in a lifetime, which is hard for the middle American to put back 100,000 extra dollars in their lifetime, and they're making 50,000 a grand or 50,000 a year, that's only 2 years of income if they were to live on that in retirement. And even if they broke it down and supplemented their income, if their Social Security was 20,000 and they're able to break it down into 20,000, that only gives them an additional 5 years before that money's all eaten away. So how can, like, the EKG effect, how does that work on 401ks and these retirement products that people don't know about when it's in an unsteady economy like we're going into, or like we're in now, supposedly?
Yeah, I mean, to what you're saying there, the EKG, I think everybody understands what that looks like. You know, it's peaks and valleys, ups and downs. The peaks can be substantial, the valleys can be substantial in EKG. That is really what the market is. I mean, it's a roller coaster, and another way to phrase that. You got a big hill, and it could be a big drop, and it could be a big upward swing from one day to the next. Like you were saying, we've had kind of an uptick here over the last month, but this 2022 year has been a challenge for the markets. We've seen some heavy losses, and then we turn around, we have some heavy gains. It keeps flip-flopping back and forth. And I think that concern for people, especially when you're getting close to major events in your life, whether it's weddings, education, retirement, you know, people say you have time, you know, when you're younger to recapture these losses. That might be all well and good, but you never get the time back. That's the other problem. Just because you lost the money doesn't mean you're ever going to recapture that money. Okay, so you go back to like the mortgage problem, the housing crisis we had back in 2006, 7, and 8, where you had some devastating losses to the markets. Well, people that are younger and they're being told, well, don't worry, hang in there, you have time to recover. Okay, that sounds good, because I might be 40 years old and I've got time before I retire to make that money back. The problem is that EKG mentality versus a stair step. So if you think about just taking one step, you go up, and then what happens? That step is flat. To where if you have the mentality or the capability of flatlining that curve to where you don't go off the cliff and that EKG goes down, or the roller coaster hill goes down, if you could just take that stair step and go flat in those environments where the market's going south, and you stay kind of where you are, you're not hedging trying to get back to where you were. So the time factor doesn't become a major issue for you, where you don't have to recapture 18 months of losses or of a recession period or things like that do occur. I mean, it's not like this is these are bad words and we can't talk about them. Recession is real. It does happen. I'm not saying we're possibly in the middle of it. We're going to find out. But there's times where recession is real, and it has happened many times. Just talk to people that are in retirement. They've lived through quite a bit over the years in terms of ups and downs. So being able to not worry about time and take away the possibility of loss and hopefully worry about gains only allows people to kind of put their head on the pillow at night and sleep a little better, not having as much stress worrying about, oh my gosh, my money is exposed and I just lost 20% or 5%, whatever the downturn may be, and hope that things, you're in it for the long haul. That's another phrase that you hear. There's truth in that, but the truth doesn't necessarily have to be that the money has to be lost. If we can stop the bleeding of the loss and significantly change the output in terms of, okay, the gains may not be as prevalent in terms of the massive swings of upsides, but if we can protect from loss, I think that's something that people are interested in. And just to add to this a little bit, when people do retire, there's a risk that people don't think about in distribution phase, meaning they're taking money out for retirement. If you're taking money out and losing in the market simultaneously, that's what that phrase is known as a sequence of risk returns, meaning that you're taking a chance that you're taking money out to live off of in retirement, but at the same time, the market might be going south, it might be negative. Well, that's a major impact on how long your money will last if things like that are happening, if you're in that environment. And right now, current retirees are experiencing that, along with what you mentioned earlier. Inflation is at a 40-year high. So people say they're on a fixed income. No, they're not. They're on a declining income because everything's more expensive, from gasoline, to fill your car up, to electricity is more expensive. Gas to heat your home is more expensive. Groceries are by far more expensive. So when people say I'm on a fixed income and I'm being a lower tax bracket and retire, well, that all sounds kind of wonderful, but that may not be reality. Taxes may be higher just because the environment that we're in economically, or you're earning more money, which should be the goal, is that you shouldn't go down to poverty state in retirement. I mean, I don't think that's people's intentions when they retire. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be looked at and need to be discussed. And I just think always looking at what people have always done over the last 50 years may not just be the right thing to do. It might be part of it, but it can't be the only thing that people are looking at. And I think, unfortunately, too many people are focused in on certain products like a 401k, and they don't expand their horizons when it comes to other avenues that are available to them to build more assets that might be more advantageous for them in the future when it comes to taxation or just profit and loss, so to speak, within your own portfolio.